Hey guys, happy Tuesday, March 5th. Been a few days, some spotty here with my videos, but was a lot of thoughts and things I wanted to share. Some really neat things, some smaller tidbits, but I figured I'd share them with you. First of all, though, we had a snowstorm here, as we've had so many this winter, uh, Sunday evening, and funny how you seem to only get involved in your part of the country and what you're going through. And I turned on the Weather Channel, hoping to get some updated data. Being we were working Monday, and I go in early morning hours for the drivers, and I see these tornadoes happening in Alabama that I had no idea about, and just horrific. And I think I heard something like 20 something people lost their lives. So, again, be thankful for the things we do have in life. These people in the flash, they didn't wake up that day and plan and having to endure that, and yet they did. And I have a whole new appreciation up in the Northeast. We deal with hurricanes, but we don't deal with tornadoes and twisters. But along the journey, not only did I have a few moments where I really had to face the fact that I may uh, have to figure out what to do if something popped up as I walked across the Southwest and then the Midwest, really. But I spent a couple of days in Joplin, Missouri, which was devastated. It was 2012 with just a horrific tornado. So anyway, that was just wanted to get perspective and have us all kind of just say our prayers for the folks suffering and what they've lost down there, and be thankful for what we do have. A couple of neat little things on the positive. It's been a few days since I left any kind of video, um, but it was neat. Just the kids. You guys may know I've talked about my son being a little bit. He's just very social, and sometimes I question, whether he's a little ADD or not. I don't know. And we had a big meeting about his baseball team. He plays on a high-end baseball team, and the coaches take it very serious. And he sometimes gets a little bit wandering, but he's really worked hard this year. The coaches have spoken with him. We spoke to him and just said, "Hey, look, if you want to be a kid, that's fine. Then maybe this isn't the team. If it's a social hour to you. But if it's something you really want to pursue and try to be the best of the best, then certainly we'll support you there." And he really stepped up. And I was at his practice last Thursday night, and he seemed to be. He had one of those. It was just small indoor practice, but his mind seemed to be flittering all over the place again. So when he had practice Saturday, he was asked to sleep over at his friend's house, coach's son, and so Sunday, I texted the coach in the morning. I said, "Hey, how was he at practice? How was his behavior last night? For you personally?" And he gave me just a great compliment. I guess they were in downtown Harrisburg. He said he was great at practice. He was really well behaved, and in Harrisburg, he blew a few police officers away because they just went up to him on his own and said, "Thank you for your service." And coach said, "Good job, Jim." And it's those little things like that that show you respect and earn respect, and made me feel really, really good. And then conversely, later Sunday night when I picked him up, we were watching a movie. And again, those of you that follow me know that I believe there's a lot of value in movies and in music. And the movie, ironically, was Fast and Furious 7. I think it's the only one I've ever seen. My son loves them. But this one was the one where Paul Walker passed away. And at the end, there's a song that I played when I left the day of my journey. And it talks about family. And I got emotional when I was sitting in a chair right over there. The kids were in the couch where I'm sitting right now, and I started to well up and cry. And my little girl without saying a word just comes over and gave me a big hug, and she just knew. It's just special moments like that. So I figured I'd brag on my kids and my family for a little bit. So that was a really neat and special moment. There were a couple of other things I want to talk about. I actually made myself a few notes, but there's some really cool things going on. The book, I will be getting back to it here. I got off reasonably early today. For me, it was only a 14-hour day. And I think I'm going a little bit later tomorrow, which will give me some time to write the book, get back into it tonight. But one of the really special things, I wish I could meet everybody all over again, and I will in time. It drives me crazy that it's taken so long for me to get back in the swing of things and make these things happen. Well, I met a really special family, a couple out in Arizona. Phoenix was just a wonderful trip. And I owe a lot to Bob and Sue. And if you follow my journey, I spent a couple of nights out on their patio, just him and I listening to music and shedding tears, and Sue with us. And well, as it turns out, Phil Vassar, who's my guy that means so much to me, has his fan appreciation concert in Nashville in June. And Bob likes the music, and we turned Sue on to it a little bit while I was out there. Said it'd be great to go to the show. And I texted him and said, "Hey, got some weird idea. If you guys are, able to travel, they're retired, so they can travel a little bit more readily than a lot of people." He said, "Well, I guess it depends on where, And they mentioned Nashville. I said, "Well, that's funny you mentioned Nashville, because ironically that's what I was talking about." Well, they called me up last night. I haven't spoken to them on the phone, mostly through texting. And they were like, "Hey, we're booking the flights now, so we'll see you in June." They're going to go down and, I got a nose, I'm poking your nose in a little bell. So my dog was right here just a second ago. Anyway, so it was just great to hear their voice and talk with them. And I know I'm going to be able to relive some memories with them and thank them for what they did. And I hope to get to all of you folks that meant so much to me along the way, even the ones that I didn't meet on the journey but supported me back home here that I've still yet to meet. The Trishas and the Teresas and the Jerrys and the Lisas and so many, and the Jennifers and so many people back home here. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But another thing that came up along the journey is I spent some time on the tail end watching Netflix and documentaries and really making you think about what a crazy world we live in and how fate would have it. So here I was late last night getting ready to get to sleep, and I put on a Netflix documentary, and this one was just mind-boggling. It was a young man who was arrested for murder. The story goes that his brother was not a great guy and was up for attempted murder charges, and a 16-year-old young lady was a witness. And I think it was 3 weeks later, she was shot dead in front of her home. And the police came and arrested this one person based on the eyewitness account of one person. And a prosecutor who had never lost a murder charge or a murder case and a whole bunch of other things were were pursuing this gentleman. And you talk about just the longest of long shots. And in fact, that might even been what the documentary was called, maybe The Longest Shot or something like that. But what happened was, but what I found interesting was the way the police interact. And I understand his tactics, and I've never been a police officer or a detective to be in that position, but, they're always so sure, and this guy was just matter of factly saying, "No, you're wrong, and I didn't do anything." But what ended up helping him was his girlfriend, his baby's mom, had remembered he was at a baseball game, a Dodger game, that night. And there was an attorney that talked to this kid and said, I'll take his case. I can see he's innocent, and worked his butt off. And basically he got footage of Dodger Stadium. He had the seats, the tickets, and was able to get with the Dodgers, and just so much legwork to try to pin the attendance. And he actually found a photo of this young man who was there with his daughter and two buddies, and his daughter's a young lady, probably about 6 years old. And but the picture was kind of grainy, so it wasn't going to hold up. He needed something better. So as fate would have it, Larry David, who was the star of Curb Your Enthusiasm and basically the creator of Seinfeld, had an HBO show that ironically was being shot at Dodger Stadium that night. And wouldn't you know it, but as fate would have it, Larry David was in that section, and they were filming it. and the young man took his daughter to go buy some baseball cards as a souvenir. And as they were walking back to their seat, security was kind of holding people off as they went through. And for some reason, they were shooting down the stands, and the gentleman looked at the young man and said, yeah, go ahead. So it went down about 4 rows, but in the shot, you could see him, his daughter, and Larry David right there. So